Webster's defines crisp as easily crumbled, brittle, desirably firm and crunchy, notably sharp, clean-cut and clear, and also concise and to the point. Meanwhile, Webster's defines extra as more than is due, usual, or necessary, and is subject to an extra charge, whereas regular is a constituted, conducted, scheduled, or done in conformity with established prescribed usages, rules, and discipline. And with that, I would like to welcome you all to Regular Crispy Day 2022.
Yes. I will note, chat thought that the intro volume was low. We did that on purpose. You need to understand what is below expectations before we give you expectations.
Yes. A regular amount of crispiness in an intro means that you'll hear people's plosives just a bit. But if we get too high and start popping our peas directly into the microphone and just blowing things out, that's extra crispy in your audio, and you don't necessarily want that, do you?
I mean, we can't be extra today.
No. I mean, well,
Today is all about being regular.
Yep.
And crispy.
And what is more regular than doing the same thing on the same day for 3 years in a row?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
That's the most regular you can get.
Honestly, this is one of the longest times I've had headphones off in this broadcasting space.
Really,
it's great.
disconcerting a bit, because it's just like, I hope everything's working fine. I can't hear it.
In case we haven't actually stated what this is, a Regular Crispy Day is a day that I believe you were the one who actually came up with the finalization of it. That September 17th shall be Regular Crispy Day.
You gave it the date.
Ah, did I? Okay.
Yes, I suggested we have a holiday. You gave it the date, I believe. I haven't gone back to watch the clip. I keep posting it, but I haven't watched it because
we can do that for next year, maybe.
Maybe.
If we keep going on.
We're not going to plan this year. We're still in this year.
That said, the purpose of the holiday is really just to, as we said, celebrate regular levels of crispiness. Sometimes the world is just too much. The world is too extra. I always hear, oh yeah, we want the extra crispy chicken wings, and hey, this here hamburger or this burrito, extra crispy. And no, sometimes I don't need an extra amount of battering or what have you. I just want just a little bit of crunch in that mouth while I bite into something and just enjoying it that way.
Yep, and I highly recommend you enjoy Regular Crispy Day with your friends who are regular, and maybe not your extra friends.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got that friend that's a little extra. They have their own days.
Most days, honestly.
Yeah, really.
So, we usually bring in some food for the Regular Crispy Day because it's we're hungry people and we need to eat. We are human beings. We've done an array of different things in the past. I think the first year I ended up grabbing a burrito from Taco Fino, a local taco place.
Yeah, I don't actually remember. I think the first year I got like a bunch of crisps and things. Our first year was separated.
Yes, 2020, yeah. So we had to keep the crispiness from... We're not going to make the crispiness touched.
Your crispy results may vary.
Yes. And then, of course, the year after that, I think we actually got into the same area in 2021. And,
I did things from the crisper or a salad or something.
Yeah, right, a salad. And I think that was the year I went with Japanese elements.
I think so. I know one year there was like a pastry that you like crackled into the microphone.
Yes, that was I think the first one. With just oh, that was a koyamon from crust. Because crust, you'd expect a good amount of crisp crust.
Yep.
Very close to extra there, but
both of these are available as VODs over on youtube.com/loadingreadylive.
Ooh,
if you want to re-experience those, they're only an hour each, so very digestible viewing
I recommend queuing them all up and then hitting play at once on all of them at the same time. It's like having more of us at once.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if this is our third year doing stream, that's generally my threshold for making a playlist.
Oh, great. Good.
So I'll have to remember to make a playlist.
So, this year, I've decided to... Well, this year was kind of a bit of a serendipitous? There was serendipity involved. Because the mad lads over at McDonald's R&D have released a new sandwich this year. Now, unfortunately, we weren't able to get in touch with the hamburger directly to form any sort of sponsorship. So this
is that who runs McDonald's, the hamburger?
I'd expect so. It's either the hamburger or I don't know. Grimace might be head of HR. No, they probably make Birdie be head of HR because
I feel like Ronald McDonald had to step down.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. He's chairman of the board, but he's not CEO involved in
like
day-to-day operations.
He's still making money off of dividends or something, but he's not with the company anymore, kind of deal.
He lives in his estate, I guess on McDonald Island. But yeah, they've come up with a crispy chicken burger, and it's amazing because. Usually, when you're listening to fast food, they are the number one. I want to say offender in terms of extraing the crisp. And McDonald's apparently said no, we will stand with a standard regular level of crispiness. It is just a crispy chicken burger. And so we're gonna judge. Well, I'm gonna judge that.
Yeah. Ian is going to judge whether or not this is true.
But a friend of the show, Andrew Ferguson of Desert Bus fame, was talking to me last night about this, and I don't tally for ads. I block them with extreme prejudice. So I've not seen any advertisement for this chicken sandwich.
I saw one once.
But he tells me that they always tell you that it goes well with a crisp Sprite next to it. So I'm going to...
I was trying to think of what would be a crisp drink earlier, and I wasn't really sure.
Well, that's the thing. There is another example that's front of mind for me for crisp drinks. So we got the crispy chicken. We've got the crisp Sprite. And then I was thinking back to a song that Beej is always constantly singing in my head, at least.
Wait. What does... Okay, yeah. Oh, in your head, yeah.
Yeah, it's MC Frontalot. MC Frontalot's "Dude and Catastrophe," which is a song about Chris Onsted's Achewood, the webcomic.
Okay, no, he probably does just do this in his brain.
Yep, and there's a line in the song, which is a line from the comic, about from Ray, who I believe is a dog, spent the afternoon having one too many Stellas. And they all was crisp. And so for that, we're also going to dip into it's past the yard arm, but we're going to have ourselves a little Stella and see how crisp that is as well. Compare it to Sprite and whatnot. And of course, McDonald's fries. Well, I mean, we have to show up early.
I mean, you gotta get fries.
Well, you do have to get fries, but you get there early, and they stay in the bag, and you walk from the McDonald's to the office, and well. What happens is fries become very uncrisp very quickly.
They lose their crisp, but I'm pretty sure they're referred to as crisps often in the UK land.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think you're thinking of chips.
Oh, is it chips?
Yeah, they call these chips, but they call what we call chips. They call fries.
Fries?
Crisp. Yes, you're right.
Okay.
Fries.
Sorry, I got my terminology wrong.
Yeah. So yeah, if we were to open up a bag of Lay's, we could, other brands are available. That would be a bag of crisps. Should you be in jolly old England, which I believe is less jolly at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I like both chips and fries, so wherever I go, if I get crisps or not crisps, I guess it'll be fine.
One last piece of information before before I turn it over to you here is I noticed that we are now past plastic straw here in Victoria. At most places.
Have you not? You have not. For the last I want to say like 6 months, maybe longer. Everybody does the paper straw now.
Yeah, I don't generally tally for sugar drinks, but I am excited to see how this becomes extremely uncrisp in a very short order.
Yeah, Now that all of Victoria's kind of gone over to the paper straw thing, I'm actually tempted to get myself a reusable metal straw. It's just something about like the paper flavor in my mouth that ruins things for me.
That's unfortunate. I would expect it to be more waxy, but yeah.
No, you're gonna taste that paper.
Goody. Heather, what do you got for the regular crispy day today?
Well, I wasn't really sure what to get this year, and my time's been all over the place. So I tweeted, and someone was like, Japanese food, and I was like, yeah, okay, sure. So I've gotten some spring rolls. Because I like them, and they're in a crisp shell. These will be not that crispy because they are in the takeaway container, which makes them a little. But they are fresh for today, so that's fine.
I'm really impressed that they're called harumaki, or literally spring rolls.
Yeah. I believe. Yeah, this is not going to be crispy either.
Uh-oh.
I got ginger tofu because the menu said it was crisped tofu.
Crispy ginger tofu.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
It'll be delicious. It'll just, because of all the steam in this container's been sitting, it'll definitely be a little soggy.
That's one thing about regular levels of crispness is that they can turn into a sauce delivery vehicle, which is great in my mind. Sometimes you want that crispiness of the first bite. Sometimes you just want a lot of ginger sauce to be delivered to your mouth via tofu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really like tofu dishes too. So I'm I'm going with that.
Tofu crisps up real nice.
Yeah, it's just like to get really good regular crisp, you almost have to eat your food the moment you receive it, which makes the stream a little difficult. I mean, your chicken sandwich might make it.
I'm curious to see how well it's holding out in its box.
And I suppose your drinks should make it because they come wet.
And I did keep them in the fridge.
And if somehow they lose their crisp, that seems weird to me.
Actually, there's a moisture that is built up underneath the sandwich on the table here in the meantime. So we may have a thing. Oh yeah, this is also the deluxe version, which means it comes with crisped bacon.
Ooh, double crisp. Yeah, nice.
Oh, and hey, well, Joe, look at that. I mean, you can
maybe
look at
you want to show
you
it
can
to the
look
camera.
at that too. This is amazing that there's crispness still going on here. The bacon is, there's just a little crisp there.
Yeah,
correct?
Bacon looks like it's doing pretty good.
Good enough. Gotta rearrange my tomato as well because that's important. Yeah, looking good.
Yeah. So yeah, the sauce and everything will have made this whatever, but it's still gonna be delicious. So I don't care.
Well, let's just say to ourselves, eat a crispy moss.
Eat a crispy moss.
Yeah, eat a crispy moss. Oh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Crisp?
Very. I'm not sure if that came across, but
Vegetables are still crisp.
Yeah, no. This is I'm impressed. Oh wow, there's a lot of flip down options on here. We can grill it.
Now is that like sometimes I know crispy chicken burgers are like spicy or like have kind of like a spiced breading. Mm-hmm. How's that going?
This is absolutely straight ahead. This may be a good baseline crispiness from which to, in future, compare against. It's nice to be able to have a base level because that allows you to properly quantify things. Right? All we've been doing at this point has been letting whoever makes these things decide for us what it constitutes crispy and extra and regular. How's the ginger tofu?
Oh, it's delicious. And tofu definitely has to come to the sauce. Mm-hmm. But all the vegetables are still pretty crisp.
I'm hearing some crispness come out of those the mouth noises. All right, I'm going to actually get right up on the mic here for this next one because I think this is acceptable. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what we're talking about. So there's layers of crispiness to this sandwich too,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm really happy about. You've got the bacon. That comes out right off the top. But I think, I'm curious actually, did they? They did not toast the bread, which could have been a little bit more crispiness to it. Sorry, I'm about to sample the crisp Sprite. Oh,
How is Sprite these days?
it's been a long time since I've had a Sprite. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
The lime really comes through nicely, and then it starts to. Now it's turning into sugar on the back end, and it's going away. But the carbonation definitely hits with a good bit of crispy sharpness, and then it starts to fade away a bit after that. Yeah, I'm gonna say I'll give the Sprite in terms of crispiness a 3.
Where's our baseline on this scale?
I mean, the baseline I would say is just
It's like it's the 5. It's in the middle.
well, I would say it's a 0.
A 0?
You're going from like just floppy, and then stepping up from there. And there's only so, I think a drink can only go so far in crispiness just based upon the fact that it is liquid to begin with.
Mm.
Unless you're talking about taking an icicle and just giving it a good snap.
Mm. So if this was like a Sprite flavored Freezy.
Yeah, I would say that's maybe a crispier thing. Maybe if there was a little bit of menthol in there. No, the surprising crisp that comes from this sandwich comes from the lettuce on top of it as well, which has managed to, as well, remain crisp. I'd assume that it could be crispier if it was fresher, if it hadn't been sitting for a while, or if they'd brought back the DLT, hot stays hot, cool stays cool.
Oh yeah. I feel like in essence, then what they need to remove from that sandwich is the tomato.
Yeah, the tomato's definitely adding some sog to it.
I mean that and all the mayo, but I don't know that you want to go completely saucy.
No, this it is a dry sandwich. The chicken is well. I'll let you have a look there. The chicken's not too moist, but also not completely nuggified. I think I can.
I was tempted to get hash browns
Oh
from
gosh,
McDonald's today.
those are a great. I would rate those a 10 out of 10 on the crisp scale.
Mm-hmm. Hash browns are just delicious, especially when they're in puck-shaped form.
Oh yes,
I'm sorry. Your shredded hash browns are not hash browns. Get over yourselves.
okay. You know what? We'll talk about that off air.
Oh, you have a differing opinion, do you?
I actually find that so the ones I can't get behind are big potato chunks, like your block, and the big blocks of potato, or the wedges of potato.
Oh, those. I'll forgive you for those, but they're still not hash browns.
Yeah, those absolutely not. I would say little squares of potato. Okay, I can get behind those. Those crisp up nice and go well with your corned beef. But I do like the shred ones because if you do take the time to set them in a nice low pan and not move them at all, you get that nice crisp lattice work at the bottom.
I'm not suggesting that food should go away. I'm just suggesting they're not hash browns.
It should have another name.
It should have a different name.
Yeah, I'll go with that then.
When I go to a place and I order hash browns and they give them to me in an unexpected form that is wrong, I don't want them.
You're a little like a John Roderick there, just no potatoes.
I don't like potatoes personally. The puck form makes all the bad potato part go away. That and all the ketchup.
It's a bit much, isn't it?
That's right. I also put cold sauces on my hot food. What you gonna do?
I'm going to judge you silently and approvingly.
I didn't mean to come into the stream antagonistically, but now I have.
Oh boy, no, we're just laying down hot takes here.
Oh, your food's still warm.
Yep. Ah. Okay, we've activated, unfortunately, a rather large contingent of shredded hash brown lovers in the chat.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's a food opinion. It's very easy to activate chat.
Yes.
That and asking them what time it is where they are. Mods love it when I do that.
I do hope you are all able to celebrate on the day of, and if you are across the date line, well, we'll forgive you just this once.
Mm-hmm.
I need to finish the sandwich before it just
It becomes
comes right apart. So, while we're on the topic of crispiness,
Uh-huh.
what are some of your other favorite examples of things that can be crispy?
Well, I like coffee crisp.
Mhm.
Especially like the little mini bars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just a touch of crisp.
Because there's enough of them. That was unexpectedly crisp. And I don't think it was supposed to be there.
Mystery crisp
Mm-hmm.
is not generally a thing I care much for.
It was a hunk of bread that had dried out completely. I hope that was okay.
I mean, if we're going for like a non-food item,
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like we really get the crispy weather that I want in Victoria. Like sometimes you get really close to it, but it's like not quite there. The air doesn't quite hit that right crisp factor, and the leaves don't dry out. They don't get a chance to dry out. It rains too much, really, for that like walk through the dry leaves in the fall kind of thing. And we definitely never get the water's on the ground, just like a little bit, but it gets cold enough for everything to turn into ice.
The ice freezes, and then the water that's still not frozen sinks into the ground, so you get these ice shells over top of footsteps and mud and whatnot.
Yeah. We don't quite get. We get really close to it if you're up at like a good 5 a.m. on certain days, but not really here.
5 a.m. in November, maybe?
Sometimes, like, and it's still like a maybe. You know, it's not a guaranteed. Whereas, where I grew up in Alberta, end of September you were maybe getting it. Definitely by October, you'd get like a good week or so of it. If it didn't like just drown you in snow.
Yeah.
Because there's a limited time period. It's like cherry blossom season in Japan. There's really only like 2 good weeks.
Yep. Speaking of which, I did not get my moon viewing in, unfortunately, so next year.
What's the time limit on the moon viewing?
Excuse me. I assume until it gets too cold. I'm sure there's an actual date that's supposed to be. You're not.
Oh, I meant like, because I assume you're looking for like the full moon.
That's
so
the
September
harvest moon. Yeah, that's the one you're looking for.
Kind of thing.
Yes, I think you just get the one September and then that's it because you only get one full moon per month. It's weird how that works.
So it's like Easter. It kind of moves around a bit.
Mm-hmm.
We should definitely go take over some sort of balcony in the city next year.
Or a rooftop.
Yeah, somebody's roof. Not necessarily the roof of anyone we know. We could make it a different rooftop every year.
Just need to find one that we can get into.
Can't be that hard.
So, while I was thinking about the various other things that make me happy in terms of crispiness, I've gotten back into. I've started playing Bloodborne again.
Okay, tell me about the crispy aspects of Bloodborne.
Well, Bloodborne actually serves as a kind of cautionary tale against crispiness.
Oh no!
Everything in the game is very soggy, just in terms of blood and moisture in general.
Sure.
But I'm bringing it up because one of my favorite things in video gaming is when you get crispy controls. When you get that instant feedback and return from a button press. And
Okay.
now go back to Mario 1 on the NES, not the re-releases of the original Mario, because those get it wrong. They introduce a bunch of lag. That first game, where you push a button to go to the left or you push the button to jump, and it's just instant movement. You feel the physics, and it's just crisp and right and ready to go.
So would you refer to that in the same way as like when the timing on a rhythm game feels really good too?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Rhythm games are especially, you need that crisp timing.
So is the cautionary tale then that Bloodborne has no crispy things? Like, you brought Bloodborne into this.
Yes! Bloodborne,
You called it a cautionary tale.
Yes, Bloodborne has shown me, none of the controls on Bloodborne are crispy, in my opinion. It's a case of you mash an L trigger, which is the least crispy button on a PlayStation controller, and your guy kind of just like, ugh, does a thing. You gotta wait for him to finish his thing, and then you can push it again, and he'll decide, like, Not crispy at all. What is slightly crispier, though, is, do you remember back to the days of the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox? And also the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360?
I mean, I know of those days.
Mm-hmm. Try and picture in your mind at least one of the games from one of the consoles, if you can.
All right, let's go with Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. There was something about the way that the PlayStation, Sony's technology stack, renders things, looks a lot more clear and crisp. It feels like there's less air in the render at that time.
Oh, so you're going like with a crisp visual.
Exactly, yeah. Whereas on the Xbox, everything looked like you were kind of looking through a very slight white filter.
I never really. I'm a little familiar with the PS2 because I had one briefly. Not really familiar with what stuff on any of the Xbox platforms looked like, and all I know about PS3 was it was very expensive when it came out, and everyone was very angry.
GameCube, then, actually, the GameCube also does that crisp video. It doesn't add very much weight to the air in between things.
Okay.
You know, the kind of way you look at a screen in, I want to say Mario Sunshine, and you just see forever, and there's nothing in the way.
What would you describe as the most crispy video game you've ever played?
Most crispy video game?
I guess regular crispy. The most regular crispy video game. Right, yes, regular Christmas Day. Yeah, what's the most regular crispy video game? Like the whole thing, graphics, buttons.
Well, can I answer that in the opposite then?
Yes.
Yeah, an extra crispy game.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Would
Tell me an extra crispy.
Absolutely be any of the No More Heroes games, because they Suda51. He's got really good crispy controls, but you gotta shake through to reload, that sort of thing. It feels a little bit dirty, but you also have those crisp PlayStation or Nintendo visuals that he then cranks up to 11 by cranking up the saturation and cranking up the sharpness and adding those manga style spikes to the edges. So it starts to pop more. It starts to crisp more. Is Yakuza extra? No, I'd say Yakuza's probably...
I would put Yakuza on a sliding scale.
Yeah. Because
it has everything from one end to all the way to the other, depending on what area of the game you're exploring or checking out.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Do you have a game that you would consider to be a good example of crispiness in your...
I saw someone bring up Hollow Knight in the chat, and I think I have to agree with that, just because the visual style, for one, has that very clear, crisp animation. The audio is amazing. Also, I really like Hollow Knight, so I'll bring it up anywhere I can.
Good call. I mean, they're all like little beetle people, right?
They're all little bugs, yeah.
Well, there's nothing more crispy than a chitinous exoskeleton.
There's also that one area of the game called Deep Nest, where there's like a chittering noise
Hey!
everywhere you go.
Sakura's
That's
house.
very much the scary form of crispy.
Yeah. Good crisp, good crunch.
I mean, you want to beware of crunchy audio.
Yeah, that's true. Unless grunge is your thing.
That's fair.
Yeah. Although I would classify grunge as to be. I wouldn't say crispy. I would say it's got crisp in it, but it's not its main feature. Grunge music feels very sludgy to me. A bit more. Oh, someone asked earlier in the chat there what the. I'm sorry, I've missed your name there because it scrolled off. But the question remains: which is the crispiest keyboard or key switch was specifically what they were asking. But I think you think with your standard Cherry switches. Of course, you've got your reds, which are slightly tactile. You've got your blues, which are tactile, and they've got that click to them. I'd say it's blues because they are the most regular crispy. I prefer greens on my keyboards when I'm dealing with Cherry switches. The Cherry green is it's like the blue, but it requires more activation force. You have to push harder on the keys before they make that click sound. But they also, they also get louder.
Keyboard talk is always the most fascinating thing to me from a human language standpoint because it's just like, I understand all the words being said individually.
You know some people put sand in their keyboards?
It's just like the green-blue thing where the color's completely like just a different thing. Where sand is not actual sand.
No, it's just, this is actual sand. Like people just putting sand in their things to deaden sound and add more weight to the keyboard.
Why don't you just get a quieter keyboard?
Oh no, it's not that they want a quieter keyboard. It's that they want the sound to be a dead thok rather than a resonant thok. Not that they want it to be quiet, just that they want it to be less resonant.
How many of these people are into ASMR?
You
feel like you might all be.
How many of these people can you get to admit to liking ASMR?
I don't think you can really get a lot of, like, most. I think honestly, almost everybody likes a little bit of ASMR. They just they don't want to say that because ASMR has kind of a bad rap and some weird connotations.
Yeah, some people may look too horny.
But I do think, and that's not to say that I think that like. If you're a person who's listened to like microphone scratching and stuff, and you're like, ugh, and like, yeah, there can be certain sounds that are not great, but there are probably other sounds that are very specific that you do find that you like, and maybe it's just soap getting cut. You'd be surprised what ASMR actually covers.
I love the idea of I love soap cutting.
Soap cutting Instagram is like awesome.
I wouldn't call it ASMR, but
but that idea.
Dark Morphord did
idea.
bring up my favorite keyboard crispness, though, which is the Model M with the bucking springs, which is not technically a key switch. Well, I mean, it is technically a key switch. Still sitting around waiting for my Model F keyboard to come in because I want the best kind of clicks. One more thing. I just noticed time is running out. So, hey, here's your last possible auditory example of regular crispiness. Prepare yourselves. Ooh. Yeah, we are definitely going to need sponsors in future episodes of this, aren't we?
I wouldn't be opposed.
Oh. It's been a long... I mean, Beach has told everyone who will listen, and I assume you all at home have heard about this, that he worked for Labatt and learned about why Stella was called Stella. But it's been a long time since I've had it, and it is indeed pleasantly crisp with a without too much of a malt back end. That's it's hard to describe a drink as being crisp, but I liken it to being another word that is weirdly applied to liquids, which is dry. Which generally, it took me the longest time in my world to internalize this, but dry just means taste doesn't linger around too much.
Which is why it kind of has that weird anti-liquid
Yeah, word for it.
residence.
Yeah.
I was listening to a song the other day, and one of the lyrics was "My tears fall dry." But I like the idea that it doesn't mean that the tears aren't wet. That it's more like dry like a drink.
Okay, that's much nicer than the alternative, which is just secreting that sort of sleep stuff you get when you wake up, and just having to kind of like pop out of the inside and outside edges of the eye.
I'm pretty sure that stuff's only around because it's just what's left over when everything dries out.
I think that's the case.
I don't think it comes out that way.
I hope not. That would be.
I mean, I've never been awake for it. But,
yeah,
you know.
that's exactly the thing. I'm sure if it did come out dry, I'm glad I'm asleep when it comes out because I don't want to feel that. Let's try a couple fries here and see if that's a little bit of crisp there left.
So you, a person who's like, fries have to be hot, or are they okay cold? I'm not talking like day old fries or anything like that. It's just like maybe you haven't gotten to them for an hour.
Yeah, like you mean
now.
like right now? Yeah, I'm fine with cold fries. I prefer them to be hot. What's weird about me is that while I do prefer them hot, I don't require them to be crisp and hard. I actually really enjoy a good self-steamed fry. It's good and floppy, but still warm. But
This might actually be fine.
while we're on the top, oh no, yeah, get your.
I'll do one. It's a little soft.
Still audible though. Happy with that. While we're on the topic of because we are on the topic of it, hash browns again, and and crispiness, KFC fries.
No, I've had fries from KFC.
Yeah, and actually I think they have also changed their formulation they did change their formulation. So KFC fries now are slightly battered, which means means I would call them extra crispy. So consider yourself on notice for today, KFC. But back in the day, and by back in the day I mean mid 80s to early 90s, they were much more like McDonald's fries, but about a third thicker on each edge, and still salted with some seasoning. So they would make really good hash browns if you would leave them in the fridge overnight to get a bit more dried out, and then you'd cut them into cubes. And this is where you get the small cubes, but you're still just reheating and re-crisping that outer area, which means you get a really, really crunchy plate of potato cubes. Which again, it's not a patty, but
Again, potato cubes.
yep.
Potatoes are like the worst vegetable. No, wait, that's not fair. They're vegetables that are worse. Cucumbers are the worst vegetable. Potatoes can be meh.
Yeah, right. So don't come at Heather with your oblong tubers. Eggplant?
Eggplant's fine.
Okay.
Just really don't like cucumbers.
Right down the middle. Excuse me.
No, I mean pickles are great. Cucumbers are shit.
And the pickling process fixes the cucumber.
Yeah, essentially.
And I would.
Although I would say cucumbers are probably pretty crisp if fresh.
I'm of two minds on that because I was thinking, is a good pickle can absolutely be crisp.
Oh yeah. Good crisp pickle.
Yeah.
Probably the smaller the better.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you usually want them to be small for that because too big you have too much opportunity for bend, and a bendy pickle is no one's friend. But I'd say I'd put it at 4 then, maybe a 5 on the crispy scale.
Ooh.
I think maybe what we need to do is actually quantify this scale. Maybe we should, much like Star Trek, in between the first series and the Next Generation, change our crispiness scale from an absolute scale of 1 through 14 to 15 all the way up to a logarithmic scale topping out at 10, where at 10 you are crisping at every crispy point in the universe simultaneously.
I thought we were doing a 1 to 10 scale. I didn't know you were doing a 15 scale.
Well, no, a logarithmic scale compared to a topping out at 10, like we might find something that's still regularly crisp, but it's more regularly crisp than a 10.
Oh, okay.
And then we'd have to go up to 11 rather than pushing the scale down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
What we're looking at now with the logarithmic scale is saying that there is no theoretical limit to crispiness other than consuming the universe. And it's just the closer and closer you get to 10, the more and more crispy things become without hitting extra crispy, which is the hard part.
Okay. Let's pretend
We often do.
that you're that giant planet eater guy from the Silver Surfer.
We'll figure out his name.
Yeah,
later.
just check and tell me. I don't really care. You can put it in the comments below. And that
Galacto.
you are on the hunt for a regular crispy snack within our universe. So it's planets I actually know.
Oh boy.
Which of the planets, and I'll let you include Pluto. Which of them is regular crispy?
Absolutely not Pluto. Pluto is a.
I'm just allowing it to be a planet in this
Yeah.
context. You don't have to pick Pluto.
Well, I'll tell you why not. And not Pluto, and probably not Neptune either, because I choose to not count ice as crispy in this respect.
Fair, okay.
Ice is icy. That's if you bite ice, you get the weird head feel, and that's I don't like that.
It'd be like eating a Slurpee.
Yeah, or like chewing on an ice cube. You know, someone could say that's crunchy. Also, that's not crispy.
Fair, okay.
People are saying not the gas giants, but yeah, there is metallic hydrogen, possibly a diamond core within again, but that's probably. Well, that's a good question. Are there layers of diamond around the core of Jupiter? Because if they are layered, that is more crispy. So hard to say there, but I am going to have to, I think, give it up to the moon of Saturn, Titan. Or actually Io. No, Io I'm giving it to. Io is extremely volcanically active, but seems to have a very thin crust on it, which is exactly what you want when something is crispy.
Okay.
Also, its active volcanism is keeping it warm, but space is keeping it cool on the outside, so that means while you are radiating some heat, you are not trapping that within an atmosphere and making your surface soggy, like say like Titan for example.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm glad I asked you.
Oh.
You have way more knowledge about the universe than I do.
What would you guessed, or what would you get? Like, there's a correct answer.
Oh, I didn't have anything in mind. I was just like, what's the most absurd thing I can think of to say? You're a planet eater. What planet do you eat? Like, I mean,
Yeah, well, I'm sure if you are a planet eater, yeah, you're going to be choosing. You're going to want different things, different flavors.
like, they always get so obsessed in these shows that they need to eat something that gives them sustenance and energy, and so it's generally like, oh, a planet with a lot of vegetation on it, or people,
Human
or whatever.
life is usually.
And I mean, that's the one that gets problematic for them, right? Which makes sense to a degree, because it's like we eat vegetables, we eat plants, we eat meat, that kind of thing. But why not eat an icicle planet that has nothing on it because you're looking for dessert? Why are the planet eaters so healthy eating? Why do they constantly eat the things that are like filled with nutrition?
I think, yeah. Maybe because there has to be. Well, we know there's a lot of planets out there.
Yeah.
Why? We all have our preferences, I guess.
Sometimes you just want to go and eat shitty ice cream from Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
Because they put lots of junk in it and it tastes good.
Like they say, life is like a planetary system of chocolates. My mother never told me to eat the stars. Said they were too hot and spicy. Ah! Desserts. Do you have a favorite dessert crisp?
A dessert that's crisp. I might need a minute to think about that.
Okay,
Do you have a...
I'll kick you off as an example then here. I'm going to choose creme caramel. Because, well, the creme caramel itself is, or I'm thinking of the other one. Creme brulee. Sorry, yes. Creme caramel is the only softness in creme caramel. But the creme brulee, you get that sugary top, and you blowtorch it up until it becomes crisp and hit it with the spoon. And you get little crispy shards of glass. I mean, sugar. Sugar glass.
Ian?
Yes.
Don't eat glass.
No. Chat, don't eat glass. From Heather to me to you, don't eat glass. And it's something you could absolutely extra crispy. And when you do extra crispy up a creme brulee, it's bad because it's too much sugar then.
I mean, I've seen some people in chat mention apple crisp, which is a very good example. I'm not really partial to apple crisp myself. The wintertime Girl Guide cookies that have been placed in the freezer.
Hot damn, yeah. I wouldn't normally consider...
The chocolate-covered mint ones. For those of you who have more than 2 types of cookies for some reason.
I mean, there's a lot of different types, but you are correct. That is the only good one.
We only get 2 out here. We get the Christmas ones, which is the Thin Mints, and then we get the summer ones, which is the, like, Oreo-type cream-filled ones, which are... They're fine. They'll do. They're cookies. It's like, I mean, come on.
They're definitely not crisp, but you're right. Putting a cookie like that in the freezer, number one, that increases the snap point, which is vital to a crisp flavor, or to a crisp experience. But also the mint. The mint flavor definitely contributes to the feeling of crispiness in those things.
Yeah, I like to take. I mean, I probably wouldn't do this with maybe a high tier quality chocolate, but I like to take like caramel bars, snap them into pieces, throw them in a container, put them in the freezer. Because then you have cold caramel that warms up in your mouth, and it's great in the middle of summer.
Heather, you are speaking my language absolutely. Back when my family was a little bit more into the Christmas thing, we would do the advent calendars, and then my mother was a little fancy, and she would go down to Purdy's Chocolates, and she sewed up this big felt Christmas tree with all different pockets in it for the different days.
Okay.
And she would go to Purdy's and buy the second tier mint melties. So you're getting discounted chocolates, and then you get one of those in each one, because that way you get good chocolate in your advent calendar. And I decided I don't want to have one chocolate a day out of a felt thing. So I just take all of these things out of the calendar and shove them in my freezer. And anytime I wanted a good, crisp treat, you got that mint flavor, that chocolate, and because they're double wrapped, the chocolate is it's more of a nougat-y chocolate, a very softer chocolate in the middle, wrapped in milk chocolate. You get to bite it, and the outer shell crisps away, and then you can bite into that second hard chocolate on the inside of that.
Now you can do this with like the After 8 mint chocolates as well, but I would actually recommend, instead of grabbing the chocolate patties that they do, doing the sticks.
Heck yeah!
Because I mean, I don't know about you, but I like to eat Pocky just simply because of the snap between bites you can do, and After 8 mint like style chocolate sticks that have been in the freezer with that snap are a lot of fun.
So yeah, you can crisp things with not just with heat, but with cool too. We're learning things, but not ice. Ice is crunch.
Don't crunch ice.
No,
I mean,
please.
I guess you can if you want to. It's probably bad for you.
It's maybe an age thing too. If you're over 25, don't stop crunching your ice in front of people. It's not as impressive as you think it is.
Over 25? What happened? What ice crunching adventure thing did you go on?
I don't like the ice on my teeth. So
Sure.
I don't know why 25 was the.
Sure, but like crunching ice is something I expect out of someone who's very young, like maybe 5 or 6, who's finally being given ice in their drinks or whatever, and they have access to it, and it's not like whatever. But you're like, and I'm like, okay, but maybe like teenage age, because people are like being weird and doing whatever. But I'm like, you said 25. As if something happened to you at that age, or some of your friends had something happen to you.
I want people to have the ability to crunch their ice up to a point where they've maybe skipped a couple of years of post-secondary education and haven't quite graduated or have decided they're not going to graduate yet. But
All right.
you're still allowed to have a little fun in your 20s before you have to put away childish ice.
I have questions.
When I was a boy, I extra crispied as a boy, but when I became a man, I became regular.
That. Nope.
It's
I don't think
been
we have time to get into all that.
it's been a really great regular crispy day. Thank you so much, Heather, for joining me for this.
Yeah, this has been fantastic. And we'll remind you that the reason we get to do silly things like this, extremely important things like this, is because of you over at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. You can also check out store.loadingreadyrun.com for merch. We have a variety of YouTubes. Go to youtube.com/loadingreadyrun and find the rest of them around there. And before we go, I know you're not always regular Crispy Ian,
No.
but I know you regularly stream.
I do. And you can find me on a regular basis over at tilty.house. That's tilty.house or tiltyhouse.com if you're from the past. You can find links to everything I do on the internet there, as well as the works of Coriander Dickinson, including the hit podcast. Hey, check it out. Heather, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me over at twitch.tv/lunarjade. And you can find me there on Twitter too if you really want.
And you can find all the sorts of things on the internet in all the places. I don't know why I need to add that.
You can use the internet and it will take you places.
John, you can find people right now all over the world. So thanks for watching Regular Crispy Day for the 2022 edition. We will see you in a year's time for more regular crispy consumption. Until then, keep your eyes on the road.
Bye.
Bye.